Hey guys, good morning, good evening for those in Asia. I know some of you are probably eating dinner watching me, but thank you for all the support in Hong Kong and Asia, and of course in Toronto. So here's a few, let me start about explaining why I decided to go live today. I haven't gone live for a while. I was at the gym this morning, and last night while I was sleeping, I had a bit of a cough, and it was like really itchy here, but dry. Right, and so what's happened now? It's we're coming into winter, and the heating's turned on. So we've turned on the heat, and I'm feeling really dry. And so last night, I was like, it was like this little bit of cough, dry cough. And I was like, nope, I'm not getting an onset of anything. I want to exercise. I want to maybe ride this weekend. So let's see. So today, I was thinking, what do I have in my house? We're gonna make actually something that's targeting the lungs, and something that's for dry conditions. And so coming into winter, other than Australia, this is perfect for drier conditions. And if you want to give a little more moisture to your lungs, or if you feel like that onset of a dry cough. So this is really designed for dry body conditions, right? If you've got phlegm, mucus, runny nose, any of those things, I wouldn't suggest taking this type of tea with these herbs, because these herbs are very specifically for dry body conditions. All right, so let's talk about what I'm gonna make today. I have a snow pear. So this is a super easy, we're gonna do a snow pear cooling moisturizing tea. So it's actually a sweet soup, and it's a sweet hot soup. So in a sense, it's warm, right? Most of the stuff I make is warm. I don't ever suggest having cold drinks, teas, even soups up for that. So we're doing a snow pear sweet tea. I've got one snow pear. It's going to be for a portion of one. So let me pick out the ingredients and I'll walk you through it. So for those joining, hi, I'm doing let me explain this. A sweet tea that's going to be for dry conditions. So if you've got a dry cough, if you've got heaty, dry conditions in your body, if you're feeling that you're very dry, your skin's very dry, your throat's very dry, you're very thirsty, this is perfect for you. And so what we're gonna use today is, I've got snow fungus, which is dried, and the snow fungus I've already pre-soaked, right? And so what you wanna do is soak your snow fungus, oh my gosh, sorry, dripping. Your snow fungus so it's actually exploded and it looks like this. And I'm gonna show you how we're going to prepare the snow fungus for the soup today. So I've got that, I've got my snow pears. Let me take out my other ingredients to show you what they're gonna be good for and what I'm using. Hold on one second. I'm going to do rock sugar, apricot kernels, and Hong Guo. All right, so here, look. All these ingredients that I'm gonna show you today are perfect for the lungs. They're perfect for more drying conditions, for moisturizing. So snow pear, it's sweet, very cooling, great for the lungs and stomach. And helps eliminate heat and fire in the body and provides moisture for the body, so that's perfect. Your snow fungus, which I have soaking here, is actually very neutral, so it's neither warm nor cooling. It's also very moisturizing, so adds moisture to the body and is great for the lungs and spleen. All right, the other ingredient that I don't use very often, but it's also very common in Asia, is the lo hong guo, or dried monk fruit, and it looks like this. So there's two types of dried monk fruits. There's a darker one and a lighter one. So this lighter one is not as roasted and not as pungent. The darker one's, it's quite strong, so it's an acquired taste. I'm not a fan of it, it's too sweet for me, and there's a particular taste. But the dried golden ones are really good. So they look like this. They come in a little ball, and what I'm only gonna use is just the outside skin. I'm not gonna use a lot for a tea. I'm gonna do a tea for one person. So I'm probably only going to use like a quarter, like this. And you can use it like that. So these things are cooling, they're sweet, perfect for lungs and dry cough. So only if you really got yin deficiency, which is what I'm feeling, and that's what I'll use it for. The other thing, apricot kernels. And so I know a lot of people ask me about dried apricot kernels. I've got both north and south in here. So north and south means essentially the south ones are bigger and sweeter. Your north ones are bitter actually and smaller in size. So this would be like a south one because it's a lot bigger, and the little tiny ones like this are your north ones. So south are sweet and big, and your north ones are bitter and smaller. Most cases for Chinese soups and Chinese teas, we actually use a combination of both just to blend the flavors. But these are actually really good for dry coughs, really good for the lungs. That's what they do support. Perfect for autumn weather, which supports the lungs and the large intestines. So I'm just gonna add like a handful of this to my tea, like that. And I would suggest in most soups and teas for Chinese people, we do use both, a combination of the bitter and the sweet together. All right, so that's apricot kernels. It's a pretty simple ingredient recipe today that I'm doing. So it's just a tea, very basic. The other one is rock sugar. So you've got sweetness from the dried monk fruit and sweetness from the pear already. So I'm not gonna use a lot of rock sugar to sweeten. The rock sugar is actually really great for moisturizing. You'd be surprised. And people say, well, you shouldn't use sweet stuff if you're coughing. Yeah, that's true because it creates phlegm. But rock sugar is perfect because rock sugar actually is really helpful for qi deficiency. It helps with your spleen and your lungs. And this I'll put last. So I'm going to use probably like that small portion for my tea today. All right, so I think I've got everything. If you want to look, let me show you. So we've got, yikes, we've got apricot kernels, the dried monk fruit, rock sugar, your snow pear, and then your snow fungus. So let's prepare this first. This is actually what it looks like dried, and you soak it for about 20 minutes and it'll blow up like that. There's different types of snow fungus. This one's a lighter, looser one. You can tell by the color and the density of the flesh. You've got ones that are darker and denser as well, that are thick. I like these ones. These are great for desserts and soups because they're very light. So let me show you how I'm gonna prepare this right now, right here. So you can watch here. Remove everything. What you'll need, sorry. So how we're gonna prepare this is actually very easy. And I've got this posted on my blog as well as on YouTube. So essentially wash it and then soak it. And what you want to do is look at the bottom of this, you've got like this hard middle, which is not really edible. Well, it is edible, but I mean, I don't like eating it. Some people might like eating it. So what I do essentially is I just cut around it like this and try to cut away as much of the middle or the harder parts as possible. And for desserts, for teas, this is what you want to be doing as well. So there's still a good section here that I can use, which then I will keep. So there we go. And the rest I don't need, right? And so what I'm doing is preparing the snow fungus for my tea this morning. There's still leftover pieces here that are a little bit harder. And so what you can do is just cut that away as well. And that's your choice, right? Like, it's your preference on whether you like eating these pieces or not. I personally do not, and so I'll cut them out like that. See? And so what you're left with is just the whiter, lighter parts of the snow fungus. And snow fungus is supposedly a great collagen booster as well. And then what I'll do with this is just like, let me pour out the water first. And then what I'll do is cut them in small pieces so that I can put them in my tea. For soups, I will keep them bigger. Let me see. Okay, so for soups, I'll keep it bigger so that it doesn't disintegrate and then I can find it in the soup. Because the longer you put it in the soup, the bigger it gets. So these things actually expand in size over time, especially as they're soaking in soup. So if I'm using for a tea, I will cut them smaller, but for a soup, I will keep them around this size, like that. And they're super yummy to eat. So let me go pour out the water and then cut them into smaller bits. And the smaller bits are really just so that, I'll show you. Here we go. All right, so this is the size for soups, but for teas, I'm gonna just do a little bit smaller, like around like that. And I've been soaking this for about maybe 30 minutes for it to get to this consistency, which is perfect. And for the dessert, I don't really like it too soft, whereas like for soups, again, the softer you like it, that's really a personal call. You could just make sure it boils longer. But these things don't really fully disintegrate. But you will notice the longer you have it in soup, the thicker your soup gets because all that collagen is coming out. So, all right, just bear with me as I finish cutting this into little pieces like this. Okay, perfect. Oh, another big piece here. And so for those who are just joining, today I'm making a snow pear cooling tea for dry conditions and dry coughs. Because last night I had a bit of an itchy cough, like 2 coughs, and I'm like, no, I can't get sick. And so this is why I am making this. This is perfect if you've got, you feel very heaty inside. Okay, great. You feel very heaty inside. Oh, all right, that's done. This is perfect if you're feeling really heaty, dry conditions. Essentially what it really means is like, yin deficiency. And so what we're gonna do is really help increase some of that chi and yin in the body with the ingredients that we're doing. All right, because of how much volume I've got in the snow pear, I didn't realize it was so big. Today I'm going to use Donald Duck. What you can do if you're doing a tea like this is use one of these tea strainers. So this is actually really useful. I'll just remove this if I'm putting more ingredients, put everything in and boil this directly on the stove top and serve it like this, right? But because I don't think all the snow pear is going to, all the snow fungus is going to fit, I'm going to use Donald Duck today. So let me explain the ingredients that I'm using. So I've got snow fungus, snow fungus, which is cooling, it's neutral, but very moisturizing. Great for the lungs as well. Sorry, it's really loud outside. It's like fall and I guess they're clearing the leaves. All right. And then I've also got, just to show you what I'm putting in here, dried apricot kernels, which are great for the lungs. So these things, let me show you. I'm using both north and south today. And this actually helps stop dry coughs. Great for the lungs and large intestines, great audium ingredient. So I'm gonna drop that in here as well. And then I'm going to use what's called a monk fruit. And this monk fruit is actually lo hong guo, actually in Cantonese. There's 2 types, a golden one and a brown one. It is cooling, perfect for large intestine and lungs as well. And it helps moisturize and cool the lungs. So I'm just gonna drop that whole piece in here. And rock sugar right there. So the rock sugar is for chi deficiency, which is gonna help tonify and moisturize the lungs and spleen as well. That can go last, but doesn't matter. I'm gonna drop it in anyway. Okay, there, perfect. And then finally, the last thing is snow pear. So what I'll do is we're gonna cut this up and drop it in. You could watch, which is like the weird thing about live. So wash it first. And snow pears are great for yin deficiency. And that's what we're gonna go after today. Great for dry, heaty coughs, dry, heaty bodies. And it really targets the lungs as well. All right, so I'm gonna do this in a way where I know my mom might give me comments later because she'll be like, well, you should actually fully have it. Oh, this pear is not that great. You should fully have it so I'm getting all the goodies. That's fine. I'm gonna drop this in as well because I'm not gonna drink it. So to be honest, doesn't have to be a lot of wastage, but there are some parts that aren't looking good. So I'm gonna cut them out here. So this piece I'll keep, but I'm not gonna eat. I'm gonna put it in for flavor. Put it in, just keep it anyway because you're not gonna be drinking this parts of the soup anyway. But what I do like to do is actually eat the snow pear as well. And so that's why I'm going to cube the rest of these little pieces here. And I'll show you when we do that there. So remove the hard middle core. And so Mom, I'm keeping this, okay? I'm not wasting it, just to let you know. So essentially, I'm cubing it like this. And oh, if you can see here. And dropping it into my soup or my little soup pot here. There. And this thing, because I'm keeping it in a full size, you can fish out later, okay? Just for those who, and I really don't like wastage. That's kind of why I do that. All right, this is probably a good portion for 3 people. All right, hold on. Bear with me as I'm almost done chopping this. Not my best chopping moments. Some of them are quite large, inconsistent in size, but that's okay. There. All right, almost done. Great. All right, so there, I've got this done. Everything's in my little pot here. And then you can keep watching. So let's keep building this. So I'm essentially done building what all the ingredients I need. And then what I'll do is set it on the stove. For this portion, I said about 3 people. So what you can do is almost do like 1.5 cups per person, or ever what we fill to. So I'll turn this on high heat. High heat, high heat. Fill it with water. So this is about 4 cups right here, which works. And then cover. And that is essentially it. So I'm gonna let this boil for about 30 minutes. So today, I'm just gonna recap. Let's take this off. All right, so today I'm making a cooling tea, let's say, cooling sweet tea. And the whole idea is it's supposed to address dry conditions, dry cough. So last night, little bit of cough, like right there was itchy. And I was like, no, I gotta get rid of this because I need to exercise and ride. And so dry cough, very dry conditions, thirsty. And so what I've started on in Donald Duck right here is, if you'll see, I've got snow pear. One second while I show you all this stuff inside. So I've got snow pear. There is snow fungus, which I've cut up really small and tiny right there. There's a lohongguo right there, which is dried monk fruit. Apricot kernels, all these little things floating around, both north and south, for those who are wondering. And then the rock sugar's down there somewhere to be dissolved. And so essentially that's it. It's quite simple actually. As a tea, let's cover Donald back there. And so, yeah, thank you. I love the pot too. I got it in Hong Kong. And then I had it brought back with me to Canada. So it was quite an adventure getting him packed. But I can't find him here. I can't even find him on Amazon. So it's quite unique. It's actually found in Hong Kong. If you can find it again, that would be awesome. It was in Homeless at Taikoo. And so anyway, easy tea to make. You can make it in like 5 minutes. Let it boil for 30 minutes or until softness of the snow fungus. Serve and enjoy. And that's it really essentially. It's a really simple tea. You don't have to do a full-blown soup like I traditionally do. And that's it. So I will post this on the YouTube and the whole recipe on the blog as well. But for those who want to see the after of what's happening in Donald Duck, you can follow afterwards, and I will post the full, right there. I will post the final product on YouTube. All right, thanks everyone. Thanks for joining me as I prepare my cooling snow pear tea today. And I'll see you next time. Thank you, bye guys. You can find the full thing on YouTube afterwards. I will repost and it'll be on Instagram. All right, thank you, have a good day. Yes, is there a good tea or soup to help manage blood pressure? Oh, okay, so let me answer Donald first. Donald Duck, I got in Hong Kong at Homeless in Taikoo. I've tried to find him on Amazon and Temu, and I can't really find this one, but I walked by him in a physical store, and so I picked him up, had him boxed and wrapped, and put it in my luggage and shipped to Canada when I was traveling back from Hong Kong last year. And so for sushi lover, blood pressure, actually a really great ingredient, a tea for blood pressure is dried hawthorn. So it's actually the fruit. Dried hawthorn is great for relieving blood pressure. Dry hawthorn and black fungus. So black ear, wood ear fungus, the combination of the two, plus red dates is fantastic. So my Chinese herbalist was telling me to make this for my father. And so basically what you do is boil that. Dried hawthorn, black fungus, red dates, rock sugar, boil it for 30 minutes. And then what you want to do is blend it. Yes, the wood ear fungus, yeah. And then what you do is put it in a blender and then blend it as well so that you're eating both the stuff as well as drinking it. So hope that helps. And we've been doing this for my dad for a few years right now. It's stable for him. But again, there's also contribution of diet that you have to consider. So yeah, but thank you. Yes, wood ear. So soak it again like the snow fungus, and then it'll expand and then you can boil it. Can you use apple? Oh, you know what? I have an apple, and you could. I thought about doing it today as well. So a combination of apple and snow pear can work. just be sure that you keep all the more cooling ingredients. So some people will say, oh, I'm gonna do a super tea for lungs. And the first ingredient that's actually really good for lungs is tangerine peels. But tangerine peels are actually drying and hot and warm. And so that's why today I wanted a more moisturizing tea, moisturizing drink. And that's why I went with ingredients that are moisturizing. Your lo hong guo is actually really it, right? It really helps moisturize the body and cool it as well. So sushi lovers, so the ingredients are dried hawthorn. I'll drop you a note as well. Sushi LVR, yeah. So dried hawthorn, wood ear fungus, and dried red dates. Those are the 3 key ones. And it should be sweet enough, but you don't really need more sugar. So just boil that for about 30 minutes together. And then if you really want to push that, you take that and you blend it and then eat that leftover stuff as well. I hope that helps. You're welcome. Any more questions while I'm here? Yeah, and so you can use apples with the snow pear tea. Apples are neutral. And that's why I say if you want to, it's designed as cooling, and therefore you want to stay cool with this tea. No warming ingredients here, either neutral or cool. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. So dried hawthorn, so anonymous compassion. So the recipe I just gave with the dried hawthorn, the wood ear fungus, and the red dates is actually to sushi lovers' question around what would help with blood pressure. And so my Chinese herbalist was recommending this to my dad while we were in Hong Kong about 5 years ago. And so we were making this for him. So yes, dried hawthorn, wood ear fungus, and red dates. Boil for 30 minutes. And then what you want to do is blend that at the end. So you can drink the tea first, drink the soup first, and then blend it after, or have it together. But the whole idea is just that makes it more potent if you're eating all the other stuff as well. Yeah, so it's a different ingredient, a different soup. Today I'm making a cooling, which is dried snow pear, dried snow fungus, dried apricot kernals, dried lo hong guo, and rock sugar. And I will post everything on blend or strain. Okay, you can strain, but if you're straining it, then that you're not eating the ingredients. So the whole point was, he said, my herbalist was like, you have to blend it. If you blend it, you get more benefits. So you can do both, right? You can blend it together. If you strain it, you can eat it like that as well, but the blending helps just make it easier. Up to you. At the end, consume what you've boiled, basically. That's the benefits are also in the consumption of the ingredients rather than just the soup or the tea that's come out. Hope that helps. Any more questions before I bail? Friday, but I know it's Friday night for you guys in Asia, so thank you. And then Friday day for us here. All right, great. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. I will post everything and on the blog and YouTube. And Sushi Lover, I'll send you a message offline about the ingredient. I think I might have it online, but drop me any questions if you want. Happy to chat. All right, thanks, guys. Bye. Having issues turning this thing off. How does this work? How?